I find keeping my digital workspace organized and making things easily accessible is really important for getting into a headspace that's conducive to getting to a finished piece of music. So this is how we go about setting up our writing templates here at the Horizon. We're going to start with opening an empty project since we want a totally blank slate to build on. All we'll have open is an empty pattern window with a sampler, our song playlist, and our mixer. Let's slide down to the mixer panel since a lot of the setup for a project is to make routing things through here less of a time sink and make applying FX and such much smoother. Let's start by holding left shift and left clicking on channel 1. This pulls up the rename and recolor window. We'll call this mix bus and then make it a new color. All of our other buses or instrument channels will come through here before going to the master, making this our last stop for leveling, EQ, and FX, before going into our final mastering processor or series of VSTs that serves that purpose, or being bounced as stems to whatever suite you choose for finish work. From here, we're going to name the next 3 lead, pad, and bass, along with setting unique colors for each. Now, unplug each of these from the master and plug them back into the mix bus by selecting the channel, click the end of that cord to unplug it from the master, and click again at the port on the mix bus to route it through there. Next order of business is laying out our drum channels. This will be 2 buses that come together before being sent to the mix. We'll name our next one drum bus, and then the following 4 will all get plugged into it. These are going to be kick, snare, clap, and perk. Name, color, and route all of these, and we'll move on to our hi-hats. For hats, we'll start the same way. Name the first in line hat or cymbal bus, then hat A, B, and C, plus at least 1 cymbal channel for the big hits will all get sent to the same bus there, then drum bus, then mix bus. Once we've laid these out, you can add on a set of FX channels for risers, impacts, etc., anything that strikes your fancy, but the core of what's needed on the mixer is there. So let's get our playlist window in line with what our mixer has now. Most of what you're doing here is setting the track type for each layer. You'll need to right-click on each channel, select track mode, then audio track, which will pull up a list of all the channels on the mixer. We compare our first 3 to lead, pad, and bass, which will color code them accordingly, and in between setting each track, you can pair the ones below it to give it some wiggle room for setting up disc recording or automation, which we'll cover in a future video. For the drum bus, set 1 track for the bus, then pair the required number of channels below it to act as the individual elements going into it. Once they're all paired as audio tracks, you'll have a neatly color-coded little stack looking like so. Now we can get synths laid out into our desired spots or leave the pattern empty and use this as your starting point. If we want to set up placeholder VSTs, we're going to click on the pattern window and select the plus at the bottom to add an instrument. I really like having Anna 2, Massive, and a contact instance queued up to hunt down the tone I'm looking for when I sit down to write, but everyone's selection varies. To color code these, just shift-click on the VST and then select the desired color from recents at the bottom of the palette window. Then, put your cursor on the box to the left of the VST name and scroll up until it matches the desired channel number to attach it to the mixer. If you need to add another mixer channel anywhere, you can always click an empty one, then hold left alt and use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move the empty channel to where it's needed in the mix. As for percussion, you can simply drag and drop into the playlist, allowing for individual samples to be tweaked and sending all of its audio through the channel attached to this track. This will also set that sample to that channel, meaning if you use piano roll to put it into a pattern, it will still play through the appropriate channel regardless of where in the playlist you actually put it. In the next one, we'll dabble in expanding our template and getting a mostly finished work to where you can start mixing. Feel free to drop questions down in the comments, and we'll see you next time on the Horizon Initiative.